IT Pro TV, an easy, entertaining approach to online IT training. Access over 2,000 hours of up-to-date, high-quality video content live and on demand via Chromecast, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, PC, or your mobile device. IT Pro TV's premium membership grants access to all courses, transcripts, virtual machine labs, and transcender practice exams. Corporate and group pricing are available. For a free 7-day trial and 30% off the life of your account, visit itpro.tv/securityweekly and use the code SW30. Has your network been breached? Cybereason can help you answer this question. Cybereason products hunt for threats within your network and eliminate them in real time. To Cybereason, real time means within seconds. Founded by former military hackers who don't play by the rules, they've built this experience into their platform. Harness ingenuity and imagination, not just code, to defeat hackers. Cybereason. Disrupt the adversary and let the hunt begin. NetSparker, the developers of desktop and cloud-based web application security scanners that enable you to automatically identify vulnerabilities in your web applications and web services. NetSparker scanners employ a unique and dead-accurate vulnerability scanning engine that automatically verifies vulnerabilities with their proof of concept. For more information, visit them on the web at netsparker.com or email contact@netsparker.com. Onapsis, the leading provider of solutions to protect ERP systems from cyber attacks. Customers can secure their SAP and Oracle Business Critical platforms from espionage, sabotage, and financial fraud risks. Visit them on the web at onapsis.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to Paul's Security Weekly. We were just sharing it's like that one time at Bandcamp.
Yes.
That one time at ShmooCon.
Hey, do you remember that time at ShmooCon?
Do you remember when Bruce was walking with snowshoes outside of the hotel? That's when it was at the Wardman Park.
Was that the Snowpocalypse?
Yeah.
Yep.
And he brought snowshoes, and he was literally walking around the hotel in
that
snowshoes.
Snowpocalypse ShmooCon, I think, was my last ShmooCon.
It might have been mine.
Mine also. The second one, the second Snowpocalypse.
There's only
last one.
There was only
there
one.
was two.
There's two. Was there?
It pretty much used to always snow.
Yep, the big one where they get tons and tons of snow. That was one of my last. No, that wasn't my last ShmooCon. That was one of my last. But
do you remember when you almost killed Bruce?
I do.
We didn't bring that up during the interview, but Larry, literally, I don't know about kill, but severely.
There was injuries.
Severe injury to Bruce Potter. It was when they used to Shmoo balls was a big thing at ShmooCon.
They're back.
And they're back now. They took a break from probably after you almost killed Bruce.
No,
when they decided to take a break.
They were in fact banned from ShmooCon,
for a while.
And ShmooCon actually disbanded doing the Shmoo balls because of me. And
you said I'm not going to be there and build.
No,
well, the whole thing was to build a Shmoo ball launcher, which are they're like stress balls.
Yep.
And Larry built this remotely operated vehicle with a Shmoo ball cannon on it.
Yes.
And Bruce was up there talking on stage. I'll never remember. Larry's like,
you'll never remember.
No,
I'll never forget.
I'll never forget.
Never forget.
Or remember
during open ceremonies.
Something like that. And then Larry's like, hold my beer, because all good stories, as we learned from Jason, start with hold my beer.
Watch this.
We're going to start this. Watch this. Hold my beer. And Larry pushes the button, and the Shmoo ball cannon goes off, and there's a cloud of smoke. And it's boom! And Bruce took it right in the rib cage, and he was like...
As it went off,
when when it malfunctioned.
Yeah, as it went off, Bruce raises his arm and it hits him right in the ribs,
rib cage,
and it left a bruise and a Shmoo ball size welt. It did.
Oh my goodness!
It's not even funny. Well, it was kind of. It's funny now because he survived.
So that was also the year we did the contest.
The pictures.
Yeah, that was the year we did the contest, the Shmoo ball launcher contest, and we were in one of those big ass lecture halls.
Yeah.
And in that, we had an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper taped on the back of the wall
to hit
for a target. And Bruce was standing next to the Barbie Jeep where ours was mounted. We shot it. We hit the target. It bounced back and hit Bruce.
He was just like a magnet.
Yep. Well, but it went that far.
A couple times I think you went through the wall because you were throwing him out at such velocity.
No, it wasn't that
People
bad.
running.
But it was epic.
I even found the picture where Mick Douglas nails my daughter in the face with a snowball.
Oh!
Oh my goodness. Okay, I didn't necessarily like the wording there, Carlos, but we'll go with it.
Yeah, it was Snowcopolis. The first time my daughter
Apocalypse.
So Snow. There was this snowball fight when we were getting out of the sushi place, and Mick Douglas just throws one very hard at Larry, but misses, hits my daughter in the face, and actually she flips back and falls on her back on the snow, laughing.
Oh my, I was glad she was laughing because that would have been really ugly.
Yep, that's
otherwise.
probably the only reason he's still living.
Yeah, pretty much.
ShmooCon.
ShmooCon.
Well,
You know what? I think 2018 is. We need to all make a return to ShmooCon.
I think so.
I think that's
Return
the year.
to Shmoo.
We need
That
to
would-
Yeah,
return
I
to
remember we were all flocking around Mike Perez because he had one of the original Android phones from Google.
Android Classic.
Oh yeah, the first one from Google.
I think I still have one of those.
We all sound really old right now. Like, remember my day? We went to ShmooCon and we threw snowballs at little girls. That's what we did.
Man, I was so fat.
Wow.
I heard that you're going to be old soon, Paul. So you
I
were
already am
talking about
old.
the big 4-0.
I'm already the big 4-0.
Hey, you remember that time at ShmooCon where John Strand got really drunk and harassed that woman from the EFF?
Whoa! Imagine John Strand doing that. Is that imaginable? Well, yes, it is.
Yes, because it
I
happened.
remember that.
True story. True story.
Ooh, Paul with the why is he wearing that?
All right.
Oh,
no
okay,
more
that's-
pictures of ShmooCon. Those need to go.
You remember that time at ShmooCon that Mick was so hungover the next day that he fell asleep under core security's table next door?
I have a picture of that. I have that one. Let me export it. Let me find it here. I'm sending it to you guys via Skype.
There are certain pictures that are coming through that Carlos is not sharing with everybody. But
We need to go
Yeah, I'm
back
not
to
sharing
ShmooCon.
screen.
After all these memories, we need to go.
they're interesting pictures. But anyway,
We have some security news to talk about other than
There you go. We
reminiscing
should
like
get on
old
Yes.
security curmudgeon people. I suppose we should start with, let's get it out of the way. I did say that Snowden, Manning, and Assange and Obama would come up in our conversation. And
holy shit, we have to drink.
4 times.
it's interesting. And so
I came prepared.
the whole way that it comes about, Snowden. So here's how I think it played out. Snowden sent a tweet, and I don't know that current until tomorrow. President Obama read the tweet, but whatever. Snowden said you should pardon Chelsea Manning. Now, this week, President Obama did pardon Chelsea Manning.
Yep.
Well, he committed his sentence. He's
Commuted
her sentence,
Commuted his sentence. Yes.
Yes.
We learned
Which
about the word
is-
commuted last week.
Which is not a pardon.
not a
It's not
pardon.
a pardon,
He just
that's
said
right.
like time served, basically.
Yep.
You're out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is a
his record will not be sponged. He's still
Right.
Gotcha.
guilty of the crime of exposing.
But then
Fight him.
apparently Julian Assange, however long ago, said, well, if Manning is
Pardoned.
Shown clemency.
shown clemency, then he will surrender
to the U.S.
Correct.
to the U.S. But apparently he's reneged on that and been like,
Right.
well,
It didn't really fulfill
he said
what
that
I
it
said for
didn't
the
meet
bargain.
The standards of clemency, but he never set the initial standards to begin with.
Right. Oh, I thought he did
that would
say.
go along with the headline that he weaseled his way out of that.
I thought he did say that he said that if Chelsea Manning was pardoned and Chelsea Manning had her sentence commuted, which is not a pardon,
Nope. Different things. You're right. Larry.
right?
Yeah.
So it was from my understanding, it was one of those. It was a technicality type of thing. That
Yeah.
he got away with not doing it.
I
But
was looking at I was looking at those today, and he never said the word pardon.
Okay.
He all of the wording was clemency.
okay,
Of course,
And now he actually backtracked a couple of hours ago and said for us to wait until he got released in May.
Yeah.
Oh,
That he may still give himself up, but Chelsea Manning has not been released yet. He's still in jail.
And of course, the thing that I find is interesting is that the U.S. has less of an interest in him than some of the other countries do.
Well, I was about to say that's what I was about to point out. That it should be pointed out that Assange is not a U.S. citizen. First of all, it's an Australian, bloody Australians, and so the U.S. interest in him is more from a criminal extradition perspective than anything else. And of course, Assange has been hiding out in non-extradition countries, but eventually that might have to change. So it could get interesting.
If the U.S. is not interested in him, and the country that wants to investigate his sexual assaults is not interested in him, I bet quite a bit of money that the UK government, for all of their pain, suffering, humiliation, are going to be more than willing to take him into custody for violating his parole and trying just to throw the largest amount of punishment they can for violation of his parole and violation of...
Were a lot of the leaks that Assange did based from the UK? Is that the way the story goes, Carlos?
Yeah, you have to remember, he was in custody of the UK government, and what they put him was under house arrest, and he escaped his house arrest, and he went to the embassy. So the UK has, number one, was humiliated by letting not having enough security control him getting out. He has been inside of that embassy in their country for quite a long time. He has mocked the UK government for a long time, and the UK has spent millions of dollars having guards and people around the embassy just to catch him if he comes out, or just to keep him inside.
Oh, so I didn't know that. I wasn't following that story that closely, Carlos. That's interesting.
So the UK is very invested in him, and I bet they're going to make him pay somehow if he comes out and they get their hands on them, and the US doesn't want him.
Yep,
they probably
put him in
will. I'd agree with that, and and by by political association, Australia would make him pay too. So he's not in a good position. That's why he's been hiding out, but.
And potentially why he's, quote, weaseled his way out of the...
Well, I mean, I don't want to fall on either any side of the story, but
agreed.
The motivation behind all of these people that we've mentioned to basically give up their lives to
do what they think is right.
To do what they think is right is, I don't know if it's I don't want to say it's noble. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's pretty amazing that they felt their cause.
It takes courage.
It takes courage, like to do all that, like give up your life for what you believe in.
That is noble.
It is noble. I find it more amazing than it is. But
you may or may not agree with it.
Yeah, the reason I question the nobility is in all cases I don't necessarily agree with it, because when it comes down to it, many of the people we've talked about have committed treason.
Yep.
And it's all very much a double-edged sword.
Yes.
In terms of supporting your country, potentially putting in the information they've leaked. And again, this is up for conjecture and fact-checking, but they potentially could put other people's lives at risk. However, the other flip side of the argument is that they were acting upon information that either violated privacy rights of citizens of a country, or in Manning's case, right, he was, or she now, well, when he was leaking that essentially there was collateral damage to a lot of the operations that were happening. So it's all very interesting. I do encourage people to not just follow the media that I think is associated with this, but there have been a lot of films that I think are, obviously my advice is to read the facts. As to what happens with these cases, but also watch the documentary films as well to get people's different perspectives on those facts, because the stories are pretty amazing. Like Carlos was just describing, so essentially the way it stands today, Carlos, is Assange is in an embassy of which country in the UK?
Ecuador, I think.
Of Ecuador. And that's where he's confined, and if he leaves, the UK government is going to arrest him.
Yep, and also one thing we have to keep in mind, Manning was never charged with treason. He wasn't sentenced or found guilty of the crime of treason. Snowden has
Never been tried
for questioning and investigation.
Right.
He hasn't
never been
found
tried
for treason. So, so when people say, "Oh, they're traitors" or "they're known traitors," well, they haven't been found guilty, so that doesn't apply.
they're suspected traitors.
aiding the enemy, one count. I'm reading here from the wiki page. Modifying and installing unauthorized software to systems, circumventing security mechanisms, transferring classified or sensitive information to non-secure system, improper storage of classified information, 24 counts of other codes, embezzlement to the public money, Espionage Act, by providing information to unauthorized persons, Computer Fraud and Abuse Act was also brought against him.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's because it's so general. They could bring that against a lot of you.
They bought quite a bit of charges to him, but he wasn't charged with treason. And in the case of Manning versus Snowden, I kind of feel sorry for Manning. The kid had psychological personality issues that he was dealing with, and when he did all of this stuff, he wasn't in a good state, and he didn't get the help he needed when he went to Alice. What was the hacker that turned him in? Forgot his name.
Adrian Lamo.
No.
Yeah.
No. I thought it was the other guy.
Amos or something like that.
Adrian Lamos. No.
Adrian Lamos.
Was it?
I think it was Lamos.
It was Lamo. Yeah, it was Adrian Lamo.
And the thing is that when you look at the chat logs that they were having, Manning was actually kind of going to him like, "Dude, I'm getting into fights. I can stop crying. I'm so depressed. I want to take my life, blah, blah, blah. Plus, I'm doing this stuff to feel better and expose all of this stuff." In the case of Snowden, I don't feel sorry for him. The guy went. If he would have just focused on some of this stuff he released and not at the large amount and bulk, and then run to places like China and the USSR, that case, I'm at the opposite side on it.
You know, there's a common theme here, too. You just mentioned it. Manning had psychological problems and challenges in his youth and stuff. Well, the same's true of Assange. I mean, Assange has a very broken childhood. If you read back in the history, and I think a lot of what drives these guys, and it's completely sort of off the technical tact here, but a lot of what drives these guys is this, desire for justice. They're fighting against past ghosts, right? And
Assange has a big ego. He likes to pump.
No, you're right, Carlos.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree with you.
I think he's a narcissist and has some other issues in his case that drive him for. I want to be the center of attention. Look at me. Look what I'm doing. But he's getting to it in the wrong ways.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. That's right. But there's definitely psychological elements in all, and that runs as a thread through our community, to be honest. But,
I was going to say, don't we all have a little bit of that?
How many people have we seen that call themselves rock stars? Or, for example, I've been at several of the DerbyCons. I remember one guy grabbing a microphone from somebody else during the party and arguing with the guy, with DJ, and telling him, "Don't you know who I am?" And the DJ go like, "No, fuck you," and took back the microphone. Like, we have that concept of rock stars inside of our industry, which is very similar.
Yeah, it is, and this I don't know, maybe that sort of psychological tormented background kind of drives people towards this industry because of that introverted aspect and the desperate need to prove yourself, and that may not be a bad thing, right? It sort of makes us do things that ultimately are beneficial for the society, even if it comes out of awfully bad roots or whatever. Anyway, we digress.
We digress. And Paul, I think you made an interesting point when we were talking to Bruce earlier about that. We have intentionally not talked politics a lot on the show for many, many years.
We started the show in 2005, right? And we kind of, from the get-go, pretty much said, politics is out. Like, it doesn't matter where you fall in politics. And in 2005, it wasn't so much of an issue for us. We're like, whatever. As time progressed, we're like, no politics. Like we're going to talk about issues that relate to the security community. And where I think you're going is those political issues are intersecting with the security community more than ever before.
But our industry has evolved. And so I think we had sort of two rules when we went into this: was no politics and no religion.
Yeah.
When is religion going to enter into this? This is going to be scary.
That could be the next thing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna lay down one deep thought. Not only has the industry evolved, but so have all of us, right?
Agreed.
And so, with that collaboration, then you cannot help but involve yourself in politics. And there's absolutely no doubt that the environment has changed. I mean, today, our visibility as an industry is so much greater than it used to be.
And I think that's very interesting too that we've evolved. We were talking about this before the show, in that I know in years past that Paul and I have had very different political views, and Paul mentioned my political views have evolved, and I'm sure that mine have too, and we may be a lot closer together than we used to be. And you know what? I don't care what your politics are, because you know what? We're friends regardless of what our politics are.
And that's table stakes, right? Like, we're friends, but I think for me, my views have changed and really focused on the issues and not any particular political party or view, but I've really focused on the issues. And it's interesting because we didn't spend a lot of time on Assange or Manning or Snowden because it was very politically charged, but now things have evolved and we're really focused on the issues, and that's really where I want to focus.
We're talking about the issues.
Like a view or an opinion is one thing, but let's focus on the issues. And I think
just the facts, ma'am.
Yes, and I think tomorrow being a historic day will be for us as Security Weekly a continuation of us focusing on the issues. Okay. And I've really, as I follow certain things, more and more affects our industry, and I'm like, well, I agree with that decision or disagree with that decision or disagree with that action based on how it affects our various industries that we're in. And I'm finding as I do that more and more, I'm like party affiliation or view doesn't matter. It's dude,
but it's a decision that now I have to live with.
It's like who,
or I can choose to support what I feel is the right decision no matter where I lie.
Yeah, and I like talking about who, for example, Trump's going to appoint for Homeland Security, or what executive orders either very shortly to end, but now current President Obama is going to enact versus what Trump is going to be able to do, and then what other things require the permission and the laws that go into Congress and all that stuff is more interesting because it affects our industry more than ever before. So, and I think, go ahead, Carlos.
No, I'm agreeing with you. In my case, it is even more scary because I, not like you guys, I don't have a way of influencing that process at all as a colony of the U.S. as a territory. So I'm probably a U.S. citizen, but I have no rights to control who is going to be the president and who are going to be senators. In fact, we don't have. Neither us nor Guam nor any of the other colonies, we don't have any representation whatsoever.
So Carlos, and to poke fun at our political system, some might argue that we don't either.
Yeah, it's true.
But that's neither here nor there, and that's bringing up politics. So let's not go there.
The other big story, and I don't think it, in the terms of what we talked about the Bruce and what we've been talking about in the past couple of months, as it relates to IoT security. Brian Krebs has published probably one of the most influential, not influential, I would say, but most informative and great representations of investigative journalism. And now, Brian put a lot of work into this, and I don't doubt.
As he says, it was the longest article that he's ever published.
But no, there are people that help Brian as well.
And
it shouldn't go without credit, is my point to this article, because I know personally there are people that help Brian. And actually, one of the people who used to be on the show is credited in the article as well. Allison Nixon, who will be here for episode 500, by the way. So I think that's really cool, but it's a long read. And it
is an awesome read.
Yes.
Now let's put it this way. I got the story from some of the guys at work. I got this story from the guys at work today, and my intern commented and said, "Don't read this unless you've got about a half an hour or 45 minutes."
Yeah.
Which is unusual, and I really didn't have half an hour and 45 minutes, so I skimmed parts and read parts and went, I got to go back up, and so I sort of jumped around a little bit and I skimmed part of it, and it was done fantastically. And of course, my intern said that he was very disappointed that Krebs didn't have as good of an understanding of anime as he thought he would have.
Interesting. Brian's a journalist, so give him the benefit of the doubt.
Absolutely. It was more tongue-in-cheek than anything else.
You got to give Brian credit for bringing things to light and doing it in such a detailed fashion, though. Journalist and a good journalist and really devoted. I mean, his stories have been getting better and better over time, in my opinion, on the industry, and it's been great to see, to have that kind of support. I think.
Carlos, did you want to comment on this article? I'm curious to get your take on it.
Yeah, what actually surprised me is the amount of information that it is out there that people do not think about in terms of relationships between one and another person, chat logs, forum logs.
Well, the forum, what is it? Carlos, what was the forum? Black Hat Forum?
Or Hacker something.
Hacker Forum. I think it's called Hacker Forum, right?
Forum.
Yeah, Hacker Forum, yeah.
And a lot of people don't think about their OPSEC. Or sadly, when they think about OPSEC and they're applying their OPSEC, they apply it way too late. And then they actually still fall into the bad habits. Like, for example, my handle is Dark Operator. And if you look and you start using Maltigo and some stuff, you'll find that I'm also been known to go by Bad Karma. I've been known to go by Dark Shadow. I've been known to go by others. And let's say I decide to pick up another one, and I go again with the freaking dark theme. I broke my OPSEC. Now and I'm trying to do something nasty, and I just created a small link there, and you can look at time as one person's active under one handle, and then he stops, but the other person starts just right inside of that week. Yep. But it's just all of the different OPSEC failures and how small things start adding up one with the other.
Carlos, your next handle needs to be Peppermint Unicorn Poop.
True. The thing that sickened me about this article was the practices in use by DDoS protection services. And
hey, I'm a DDoS protection service. DDoS, pay us. Maybe you need to go to get DDoS protection.
It kind of, I'm growing up in Rhode Island, being from Italian descent. We all think of the mafia. This was like a total, throwback to like a shakedown from like the mafia. It doesn't matter. Like they paint you, the bad people will paint you in a corner. That it doesn't matter. Like you could be an upstanding citizen running a business, and you want to side with the good guys, but the bad guys will paint you in a corner and make you support the bad guys. And that was this situation, and that really, it pisses me off, and it sickens me that that's what happened in this situation. And I take sanction in the fact that there's people like Flashpoint and Allison and others that are helping, and Brian Krebs that are helping to out this so that we can, because I know, in my heart, I know us as a security community, like this just sickens all of us. As much as it sickens me, I know all of us reading this in the industry are like, we want justice for like these bad people in the world that are doing these horrible things.
In fact, there's a great book on the story of Cloudflare and how did it started by its original founder, and he covers how he had to deal with the Italian mafia, how they set up in Costa Rica for initially for the service. How was the service originally being done in Cloudflare to protect their gambling operations in Costa Rica? And he covers the entire story from when he got in to when he got out of that business. And you see how everything was mob related and gambling and all of that stuff.
Yep,
I'm still trying to find a book.
And
I had it with me, but it looks like I threw it out in one of my cleanups here.
And this is very similar type of thing in that the founders of the alleged folks that were behind all of the Mirai botnet and stuff, they came out of running Minecraft servers and were getting DDoSed, and they found ways around it, and they said, hey, you know what? We have a marketable service that we can prevent Minecraft servers from getting DDoSed. So let's start selling services to folks that run Minecraft servers to prevent them from getting DDoSed. And they got really popular in that space, and they started to branch out to other
It
ones.
sounded like to me the DDoS people figured out they could DDoS the people that are using anti-DDoS services to come over to their anti-DDoS service and not DDoS them. And that's the thing that sickens me, that those people should be punished for
that said, but
the people that run a Minecraft server are, talk about it like economy and economics and all that stuff. Like, they're making tons of money, and they're like, you know what? I don't care that I'm going to another, I don't care about the business practices that happened. I'm going to switch because it means my business is up and I can still make money. That's just unbelievable. The most unbelievable part of the article that I read.
So the thing that I think is funny, so my intern and I had a brief conversation about this today, because he's relatively young. He's 19, and he grew up in these communities, like the Minecraft communities. But in these communities, like deep involved in these communities, to the point that he has been a sysadmin of many of the most popular forums and all of this stuff for various communities, because he's got multiple talents and multiple interests. And he said, of the Minecraft community, this is probably one of the least crazy stories that he's heard.
Wow. That's crazy.
And
what?
you could hear a pin drop.
What?
Wow.
What is this world coming to? Get off my lawn!
Where's Jack when you need him?
Oh my God.
I almost feel like that a lot of us in the security community might be kind of disconnected from this problem, and maybe it's something we need to be more connected to be like, you know what? I remember when the internet was couple thousand servers, and we can totally solve this problem.
I just totally pulled on my headphone cable
him.
and knocked out in the earbuds.
I think you're right. I think you're right, Paul, because look, I find myself doing it with my own kid, right? He is involved in these communities now. I don't know at what extent, and I probably should know, because they're doing stuff. They might even be doing things that are pretty naive, but it doesn't matter. They're doing stuff, and it has an impact.
So that's kind of interesting, because my 9-year-old is very, very starting to get involved in some of these communities, and in one of the communities that she's in, they have an anti-griefing policy, and she felt that she observed someone griefing someone else, and she reported it. Like, wow. All right. Well, okay. That's kind of interesting. And we also want to make sure that we temper that with the theory of snitches get stitches. But at 9 years old, I think there's probably going to be very little retribution, that type of stuff. But make sure we temper that later on with some of that type of stuff.
Well, I think it speaks to the idea that there's been a fundamental shift in the way socialization occurs amongst kids now. And it started, look, my kids are in their teens, and my oldest is 21, but they look at socialization completely differently. I mean, when I was growing up, it was all about getting wheels and getting mobile. They don't care. They don't care about being mobile. They care about being connected. That's a really big difference.
Yep. Like my intern, he's 19 years old. He doesn't own a car. He owns a bike. Because his socialization scheme is different. Like, he doesn't need to drive somewhere to go hang out with friends.
Well, that's right. And if you look at the sort of X generation folks like I am, it was all about getting mobile. That was it, right?
Yep.
We had to get out and get moving, and that is completely changed now.
Yep.
So we should pay attention. These kids are doing stuff online that they're using applications and software that they think is good, that is probably malware infected. They're using application and software that they can get it wherever they can get it, and they don't care what it is as long as it achieves the social goal they're after. And it has significant ramifications, and it ranges across all the platforms that they have in their hands, whether it's a PC, laptop, mobile device, wearable device, whatever. They don't care. It's about the goal.
Yeah, it's a crazy story. Everyone deserves to read it. I don't know. There's so much information in there. I haven't personally had time to digest it all. So
I'm going to go take another read for sure.
I mean, I'm going to call Allison too.
And
she'll probably have a conversation with me and be like, look, before we start, you can't talk about any of this to anyone else, or I will send ninjas to your home to kidnap you.
I am. I have to say, and I hope Allison's listening, I'm super excited that she's going to be with us on show 500 because
absolutely
we've missed her. So
a lot of people have missed her. I still get emails to this day.
I was having a conversation with someone like, "Hey, you used to have that woman on the show.
Yeah, that
really smart.
Allison chick. Yeah, you need to bring her back.
It wasn't the Allison chick. It was that woman that was really smart and was awesome. I'm like, yeah,
that woman was really like way smarter than the rest of you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh yeah,
pretty much.
Yep.
Yeah. So hopefully, episode 500, you'll see the return of Allison,
or at least for temporarily.
Temporarily,
just like our 10-year anniversary show, right?
Hey, now we've built up a demand. We better be able to follow through. So Allison, better show up.
So we, just to give you a little teaser.
I like to tease.
We did some back of the napkin kind of math. And the max number of people we can put here in studio and still be able to hear everyone is 12. Oh. So there's going to be 12 people live and mic'd up here in studio
at any given time.
At any given time. Plus, whatever we can do on Skype. Carlos, I know it's a long trip for you. If you want to join on Skype, we're totally prepared for that. We're going to have one Skype machine where people can join. And I totally think that it'll be, I don't know if the most people ever on a security podcast, because some of the podcaster meetups, we might have had more. It's going to be pretty damn close, though.
So, that being said, do you have how many people are we going to have around the table? I know I'm going to be there.
No, hold on. The magic number is 12, Joff. I can answer that. The max number of people we can have here in studio and still be mic'd up are 12. 12. Plus whoever we can add on Skype. But this.
Yeah. So what's the what's the policy of ejecting somebody though if we exceed 12? That's what Mom asked.
It's 12. That's all I can say is 12. 12. I mean, maybe you could share a microphone.
And there will be some friendly rotation.
Yeah.
If there are more
after that, it's friendly rotation. Yep.
So I think, I haven't talked to Mr. Strand, but I believe he's going to try to be there.
He will be there. He told me he's going to be here, so we're going to, even if he's not here, if he's not here, if he's not here, we're going to have a cardboard cutout of Strand. And the thought of that will terrify him so much that he will be here in person. So,
you know what I expect? I expect a phone call from him a day before, like Tuesday or Wednesday that week, going, are you in Providence?
Yeah.
Do you
have a room?
He'd be like, so we're all sleeping in the studio, right? That was the plan, right?
Yeah. That's kind of what I'm expecting. I haven't heard any, because John's not really a planner on this stuff. He's going to be like, Joff, do you have a room? Does Larry have a room? Does Paul have a room? What's going on?
Does Paul have a room? So, John, Larry and I have houses that you can sleep in.
John can sleep on the sofa because Tyler. So our oldest daughter is going to go sleep in our walk-in closet, which she loves, because it's like Harry Potter in the cupboard. Yeah, it's like camping. Yeah. It's glamping.
But I will tell you, I am locked in. The flights are there. I'm coming. I got my room. I will be there.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Tyler's sleeping at our house. We'll put the My Little Pony sheets on the blow up mattress like we did last time.
What, for John?
No, for Tyler.
I have 2 blow up mattresses. I have kids that like to sleep on them, so
Yep.
I don't know. You may have to share one of the couches with me if it's
Big spoon, little spoon.
something.
Yep.
I don't
Something
know,
like
Paul, man. You're known to be a spooner. I mean,
We'll make it happen.
No,
We've
and,
got plenty of
and,
room.
and after what Joff was sharing with us at the beginning, I don't think you want him in your house.
No, definitely not. Carlos, you need to come up for this, Carlos. You can sleep on your own couch in my house if you come up. How about that?
When is the dates for it?
February 9th.
February 9th.
I think I may be in Maryland. I'll check.
Well,
That's
you
a
totally,
short-
if
that's
you're
a
in
short
Maryland,
trip.
dude, it's only an hour flight to here. So,
Okay. I'll check.
yeah, definitely.
Yep. Southwest runs a lot of flights between BWI
Yeah,
and
totally
Providence.
come up for that. I will totally boot out at whoever else to get you on one of the 12 slots that will be here in the studio, believe me. And I'll totally kick John Strand on the floor in a sleeping bag to have you sleep on my couch. How about that?
oh my goodness. How long are you staying in Maryland? Well, I'll ask you later, but I'll be in Maryland the week after anyway, so maybe we can find a dinner somewhere in McCall's.
So John can stay at our house. We've got that little cottage in the back that's got the wood stove heat.
Yeah,
and
he's
a
fine.
bucket with a
He likes
toilet seat on,
camp.
and
Yeah,
a
yeah.
bucket with a toilet seat on it. He's totally
He
fine.
likes camping.
He lives in South
actually
Dakota,
camps
dude.
It'll be warm. He won't even need to light the stove. It'll be warm.
Dude, that's like, here is warm compared to South Dakota. Anyway.
So moving.
Were we
moving
talking
right along.
about security at some point?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Moving
were
right along.
We were.
Where do you want to go from here? I have a lot of stories.
You do.
This week was just like,
For you, it was really good because you got a chance to look at some stuff.
oh my God,
doing stuff.
like unbelievable.
Yeah, I think you have the
What's
Krebs story
interesting?
in here
You guys
twice.
tell me, what's interesting?
So a real small one for me that was there was the my story number 2. The student sells a keylogger. Computer science student sells a keylogger, which was used to infect 16,000 machines, and he was then prosecuted, and it was sent to prison. Or is being potentially sent to prison. The part that I thought this was kind of interesting was that the face looked kind of familiar to me, but I'm not sure in that he's a student at James Madison University, which is out of the Mid-Atlantic region for cyber collegiate defense competition.
Yeah, we were talking about CCDC, where this show is all about inside baseball. That's what this show should be called, Inside Baseball. Fielding a team in Rhode Island. Conversations happened this week.
Good.
Some hilarity ensued. I'm like, I could be one of the coaches. I'm like, you're playing in this, Larry, so just bear with me for a moment. I'm like, I could be one of the coaches. I could tell you how to win. If they listen to me, more than likely they might win all the way to nationals. Because we've been involved in so many.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the conversation was, well, in Rhode Island, like, I don't know if we have that many number of students enrolled in a single cybersecurity program. I'm like, we can get some ringers. I'm like, Larry could be a ringer. Like, Josh Wright could be a ringer. I'm like, how awesome would that team be? The teams would be like, how come every time I connect to a Wi-Fi network, I'm owned? Like, I don't know. Like, look at these 2 students. They're awesome at Wi-Fi. I don't know how that happened. Yeah. Your microphone just went off, by the way.
Oh, Larry,
Wiggle it.
you stepped on your cord, man.
Oh, is it back?
Yeah, I jiggled it for you.
Okay, yeah. See, I.
Wait, you know what? You can always kind of mean to jiggle it for you, Larry.
Thanks.
Either that or spooning you. He's going to be there for you.
Jiggling it,
No matter
spooning,
how-
I'm there.
No
I'm
matter
there
how
for
many
you.
times you jiggle it, the last drop always goes down your pant leg.
That's the universal law of man. The last drop always goes in your pant leg.
That was way too much information.
All right. So what else we
You
got?
were saying, what do you want to talk? So, President Obama made I hate to drag it back to politics, but I want to say it was the general that You went. Your mic went off again. Right when you had something to say. Hold on.
Not coincidence? Coincidence? Not coincidence.
Retired General James Cartwright, who is believed to be the source who told the New York Times reported that the United States and Israel were behind the famous Stuxnet cyber attack, has been pardoned.
Yeah, he was actually pardoned.
Was he convicted of a crime?
No, he was. I think he still had to go to trial on it.
Gotcha.
Testing. Hey, I'm back.
He's been pardoned.
Yep.
James Cartwright, yeah.
Yep.
That one actually surprised me.
So yeah, he's the one that had the leak for Stuxnet. Yeah.
I have to say, the U.S. may be technically superior to many other countries, but boy, do we suck in OPSEC.
Yeah. Now that's
boy, do we suck big time.
That said,
Somebody
We killed Bin Laden in less than 24 hours. People already knew not only the unit that was still Team 6, they knew the squadron, and they knew inside of the squadron the platoon that actually did it in less than 24 hours. I'm going like, fuck.
That's bad. And there's a whole series on the History Channel, A&E.
yes.
It's called 6, about SEAL Team 6.
Yep. And History Channel.
History Channel, yeah. Which, I mean, Carlos and others, like, I'm a huge fan of that. Like, reading about Delta Force and Navy SEALs, and kind of, like, I find that stuff really fascinating. I really admire the soldiers in special operations that do that kind of stuff. So, but you're right, Carlos. Like, we shouldn't. There shouldn't be enough information out there for me to even be like a fanboy, right?
Yep. And in fact, The Intercept just did a series of articles about war crimes being done by the unit, and how everything's being covered up and all of that stuff.
Oof. Now, back to the. Go ahead.
Oh,
go ahead, Jeff. No, go ahead, Jeff.
Well, it sort of goes both ways, right? We suck at OPSEC, and I agree with that, Carlos, but there's sort of every bit as much disinformation as there is information to go along with that, which makes it really sucky.
Oh yeah, yep. That's why when people go with the conspiracies about, oh no, we planned, the government planned, let's say September 11, I'm going like, bullshit. We cannot even keep the simplest stuff secret, the simplest stuff secure. Can you imagine an operation that size, how many people you actually need to perform it and execute it? And we're going to be able to keep that secret, and nobody's going to talk.
No kidding, right? It's so unbelievable. It's
how many millions of we have 3 million people actually have security top secret or secret security clearance. Around 3 million people currently in the U.S. It's a large number.
We'll believe you because I don't know.
Yeah.
And in fact, one of my favorite books was the last one from Tom Clancy, the Jack Ryan Jr. series, where I have to say, they nailed in their story how the OPM data was being abused by the hackers that got the data, how they abused that data to create specific target packages to go against that against people in the intelligence community. What they did is, here's your data, here's the form that you filled out. Let me go and use this to go into open source intelligence to find all of your information.
So
what was that?
Back to the story real quick, just to get us back on.
Larry, and then Squirrel.
Yeah, back to the story real quick, just to get us back on track. Thinking about this pardon, you think about, always being pardoned for, going to prison for the rest of his life. No, his potential sentence was a $500 fine to 6 months in prison. So, while to us it had a really big deal, his adjudication may have not been huge.
So, believe it or not,
but he keeps his retirement.
Yep.
If he would have been found guilty, he would have lost it.
That's a big deal. Fair enough.
That's a big deal.
You know what's a big deal is squirrels.
Yes, and you know what? So, Paul, I came from before I went to Win Guardians. I was at a smart energy consulting company, an energy consulting company, and this came up a lot.
Really?
In fact, we issued a report to a customer that we knew that could take it tongue in cheek, very much related to this story.
So, a certain individual who I will disclose after I read this couple of sentences concluded that the damage done by real cyber attacks, for example, Stuxnet's destruction
to energy to the smart grid to the grid
or Stuxnet's destruction of Iranian uranium enriched centrifuges and disruption to Ukrainian power plants being the most high profile was tiny compared to the cyber threat posed by animals. And the numbers go birds 434, snakes 83, raccoon 72, rats 36. What the fuck is a martin?
It's like a weasel.
Oh, martins 22. Thank you, Larry, for being more educated than I am. And frogs, which their legs are very tasty. Frogs 3. And this was research compiled by none other than Chris Thomas, a.k.a. Space Rogue, a.k.a. Tenable Network Security Employee. But Chris brings up a great point.
Yep.
And
so that more attacks,
awesome.
More attacks were conducted against critical infrastructure by squirrels than there were bad actors, cyber actors.
Oh, squirrels were at the top of the 879 attacks.
Because they're drawn
attributed to squirrels.
Because they're allegedly drawn to the magnetism of all the stuff, and they like to chew on it. And one of the findings that we issued at a previous company to a company,
the indecision that kills them on the road.
Right.
You ever seen a squirrel? They're like, I want to go across or back, across.
So
or back.
One of the reports that we issued in with tongue in cheek and was removed from the final, of course, was that we were talking about the design of their product that they were looking to deploy, and one of the areas in which that they were looking to deploy had an external antenna connector that was coated in plastic, and the highest risk that we identified with this device was was the Chinese APT squirrel.
Oh,
that could be deployed to chew on the antenna to let water in that would ultimately destroy the device.
Okay, I question the word attack. Okay, the squirrel is not attacking. There is not the precognition.
But if they're Chinese
attack.
APT squirrels, it is an attack. There's some precognition. They have been trained by the Chinese to become master attackers. We actually put a picture in the report. We actually put a picture in the report of a squirrel with a military helmet in red with the yellow stars on it. It was Chinese APT squirrels. God damn it!
There's a joke in here somewhere about nuts. I don't know where it fits. But there's a joke about nuts.
I think maybe I am a little bit nuts, but yes.
Well, they can be
you get my
trained to
point.
collect the nuts of their targets.
Yes, they can. But you understand my point. It was entirely a joke that it was removed from the original report. They laughed at it. We laughed at it. We had a little fun with Photoshop. But it's true that
squirrels are a denial of service threat.
Squirrels have more impact to our critical infrastructure than cyber attacks currently.
So we all have no perspective.
Paul is scratching his head and going, "What the fuck did I just do?"
I can't believe that there were multiple, arguably credible news sources that were posting about squirrels.
Chinese APT squirrels?
No, like just squirrels.
Fuck. They didn't get the story right.
As it relates to cyber, and lo and behold, our good friend Chris Thomas, aka Space Rogue, is behind it all. I find it hard to believe that it just wasn't trolling from Chris. Like, we've all been trolled. By Chris. That's what I feel. That's what I feel like. Because
it may feel like it.
Opinion.
You may feel like it, but it's true.
It is true.
It's true.
And you know what? I feel good about being trolled by Chris.
Yep.
To be honest.
And to that point, before I moved to Rhode Island, we lived in Massachusetts, and we lived in a very rural area. Do you know how many times we had to have our phone lines replaced because the damn squirrels chewed through them?
Oh, I thought you because Space Rogue was there trying to type.
Well, I mean,
because he's from Matt.
That was number 2.
He's from Matt. He was in Boston.
That was number 2. I mean, squirrels were number 1.
Yeah.
Space Rogue was number 2.
I'm so happy I don't suffer from that problem.
Yeah.
No, are there no squirrels in Puerto Rico, Carlos?
Nope.
We can bring you a couple.
Is that because you shot them all? Is that?
No. There's no squirrel. There's no squirrel.
They just
We
haven't swum
probably can have mice or a rat eat.
What about a martin? What about a martin? A martin.
Martin Paz? What?
No, martin.
Martin Paz?
Martins.
Now we do have a problem. Right now we are having problem with a certain type of crocodile that was introduced into the island.
Oh, really?
That is not normal here.
Is it a crocodile?
We have also army cargo planes have brought into one of the southern part of the island. Sadly, brought a type of brown spider that is venomous.
The brown recluse?
So, yeah, we probably have those, but no squirrels to worry about.
And crocodiles.
And crocodiles. However, you know what
a crocodile is
we
like a
call it
chocolate
caimanes.
It's like a chocolate covered Twinkie or something.
Actually, crocodiles are pretty good to eat.
They are.
Or is it alligator? Alligators
Yes.
or crocodiles?
Either
One
way.
of the two. You've eaten that.
I've had
before.
alligator. I don't know if I've had crocodile. I've definitely had alligator.
There's a difference.
Yep. I've also had turtle.
They both taste like chicken.
Yep. They do. I had turtle.
Everything
Crocodile.
tastes like chicken.
Yes.
Yep. But I'm very interested in this town that is dedicated to pork.
Oh yeah, Guavate.
Bacon town.
All right.
Wow.
See,
All
that's a road trip right there. Carlos, you're taking us to Valate.
Words of wisdom.
Valate?
Guavate.
Govate?
Gua.
Guavate. Guavate. Okay.
Yep.
Joff learned Spanish.
That's right.
Everything tastes like chicken, and there's a town with all pork, and all
Muy
good
bien.
stories start with this one time at ShmooCon. So, yeah, thank you for watching this edition, and I apologize for this edition in the same breath of Paul Security Weekly. Carlos and Joff, thank you very much. Larry, take us out.
Over and bacon.